Right. I'm a big fan of these like little instrumental interludes as we kind of get things started. We've done that for a few of these, and I just love it. I want to let the music kind of keep going, but I feel like people don't want to just hear some acoustic guitar and then just stare at the banner. They want to see you actually perform. So,
Yeah. That's
so at
cool.
some point, I need to jump on here and do that. So, hello everybody. Welcome. I am Eric with the Portland Sessions, and thanks for tuning in to another At Home Live. As you can see, nope, wrong direction. Right over there, we have John Sierra Jr. from Raleigh. Man, thanks for taking time to be here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is great. I'm excited.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned that you have a storm kind of rolling in, so if you disappear at some point from a thunderstorm, we will know why. I will hop back on and fill the time. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get through the entire stream without power going out on your end. Now, I loved all the different kind of behind-the-scenes videos you kind of did leading up to this with notes around. I have my notes. You know, we are good and set to go with notes. But you're also working on a new record that I saw in some of that things. And I love that you're putting out, demos of songs in progress, putting up some lyrics on Instagram, and even putting up videos of a couple variations of choruses and things. So two things. One, what is it like putting together a record during this very unique time in our lives? And then two, what kind of prompted you to want to put out things that are partially done that you want to kind of get feedback from people out there randomly on the internet?
Yeah, those are great questions. So regarding putting a record together during COVID and what it's like, it in some ways it's kind of a gift in a way, because I'm focused every day on it. Like every day I'm thinking there are distractions from a stressor standpoint, like emotionally there are more distractions.
Yeah.
Just because of everything that's going on and stress, but there is more time. I'm not driving to work. I'm not in the office, so my lunches I can come in here and practice and work on harmony lines. So it's actually been a very interesting experience.
Do you feel that you had to not necessarily force yourself, but I guess kind of force yourself and dedicate time to the creative and the writing side versus being able to take this free time that we all have and actually kind of relaxing? Or was it natural to kind of go into creative mode?
It's interesting. So if y'all are familiar with the Enneagram, I'm a 4, Enneagram 4, which means that I don't like structure very much. But simultaneously, it means that that's what I need for growth.
Okay.
So I got away from having structure in the beginning, like where I didn't have specific writing times. And what ended up happening is I wouldn't write as often. So when I started going, okay, I'm going to write in the mornings and late at night, which is normally when I write. That's when I'm most creative. Or like near dinner time too. As I started to put these markers in place, it became easier. But without that, what I would do is I'd be like, I gotta write. 10:30 hits and I'm exhausted, and then I kind of write and go to bed and wake up the next day.
Yeah.
And it also, when I don't write, The Artist's Way, which is somewhere in here, by Julia Cameron, I get really frustrated inside of myself if I do not write. So it's only a couple days that I can go without sitting down to put something together. Yeah. There's an angst that happens inside of me.
And I think a lot of artists talk about kind of writing, whether it's, writing poetry, writing music and lyrics, writing a book, whatever it is from a writing standpoint, that it is therapy. But I mean, from what you're saying, it kind of sounds like it's even more therapy to you to kind of get that out there in one form or another.
Yeah, yes, it is. It is a form of therapy. I think it's also, I think all of us are designed to create, and part of the creative process is sitting in the room by myself, putting it together. The next stage, though, is then putting it out and giving it to people and sharing it with other people. And that both take, you need both sides to get there. Like you need what's done in the room behind, that was lightning if you saw that flash, behind closed doors before you can put it out into the open. And that's a challenge. It's not easy to do that. It takes discipline. Every writer that I've read about, Andrew Peterson, it's not up here. There's another book called Adorning the Dark. He talks about discipline. Like as a writer, as a songwriter, there's a daily grind to it. Like getting up and doing it. And the more that I do it, the more I miss it. If I don't do it, the more I long for it.
Yeah. Well, then that feeds into that second part of the question of of the second half of your kind of process of putting parts of it out there for people to kind of give you feedback on and get some inspiration and how it moves them and those kind of things. So how was it putting those things out there, things that are half finished in the works where you're trying to kind of go back and forth and putting something very vulnerable already personally and that's then unfinished out there for people to basically critique and give you honest feedback on?
There's a couple things that go around in me when I think about that question. The first is, so I work for a company called Red Hat, and we sell open source software. And what I've learned from working there is you open up, literally invite people in, collaborate early and often.
Yeah.
And what that means is, like, it's going to be messy and it's not going to be finished. It's not going to be perfect, but you're then able to get other minds, other eyes, other thoughts other perspective that one may not have themselves on it. And by the time I give it to someone, I have spent 25, 30 hours on it. Like, by the time I open those up, one of the songs I recently did, Maybe We're All, which I'll be playing later, which is still not quite done, but I'll be playing like what it is right now tonight. That chorus, I started writing that song like almost 8 months ago. Like, the chorus hit me walking, I don't know where I was. It just, the melody came in and then the idea hit me. And I just sat and like just burned through pages and pages and pages of lyrics. So by the time I open it up, like, I've really thought through, it's this or this. Like,
Yeah.
I can't quite decide. So that's one part, is opening it up. The second part is my audience are people and I want them to connect with it. And it's kind of like testing. Like, is this going to work or not? I think it sounds great, but will others? Like, will they? And not just for the purpose of, like, so that it sounds great. I do want that. Like, I do want people to like my music, but it's also like, I want them to like it because they get something out of it.
Yeah, you
like,
want to see how it resonates with people. Yeah,
so the magic of the lyrics and, like, the intention of the song isn't lost because maybe the song is not engaging.
Now, again, you talked about how if you do put it out there, even if it's 2 choruses, you want people to kind of give you some feedback from, you have spent a lot of hours on doing that. And anybody that's kind of following along with your different social media, which I will put up right now, at John Sierra Jr., for all different social media to follow along, is you are very, very purposeful with the words that you put out there. Yeah. And it seems like you take a lot of time with lyrics, and you put out, little short poems, and even just kind of, I don't want to say inspirational messages, but just every post that you kind of put out there, you're very, very purposeful with your words and with what you put out. And the very first person that you kind of cite as one of your influences is C.S. Lewis. And you can see that side of things, of somebody who just constantly writes and constantly focuses on the words that they write. When you are writing lyrics for music versus poetry versus just something you kind of want to share, do you kind of separate out? Or as you're writing, do you kind of feel like what feels like it goes into a song versus into just a standalone poem versus something that you're to spend a year kind of morphing into what it turns into? I know, a really easy question to answer real fast. So
it's interesting. It starts off differently. If I think about it, it starts differently. Like, when I get an idea for a song, I'm like, that's a song. There's no question. It just hits you and you go, this is going to be a song. Maybe We're All, that's going to be a song. It's not a poem. But then I have a couple, it's almost like I write poetry for me, like, where it's my way of processing what I'm feeling inside. It comes out in poetry. And some of these songs are that, but most of them are not. Like, it's like me taking what I may have just thrown out as poetry, what just came out in my journals, like if I'm struggling or hurting, and then taking elements and pieces of that into the song. So the song is much more structured.
Yeah.
And poetry has a structure to it too, but I write whatever naturally comes out poetry-wise. So it's like less structure for poetry. Yeah. And then social media, I like to use, I want people to get something. If I expect others to read what I'm posting, they should get something out of it. I feel really strongly about that. And I don't sell a product. So like, I can't like educate people on a product. So in my writing, my music, and what I care about is the soul, like our growth and pain. A lot of loss and a lot of longing. I deal with that on a daily basis. Anxiety, depression. Like, I've grown up with a lot of that. And so I want to offer those that are in similar places hope through that, and offer them something through social posts that maybe they think the heart awakens to something that it didn't see. Hopefully that would be, or even if it's not my words, it just sparks something in them.
Yeah.
So that's why I choose that.
And that's great because there's so much. I mean, obviously we all know that in social media, and especially in the last few months, there's so much out there. So being that purposeful with what you're doing and making sure that if you're going to post something, it's something that you truly kind of believe in and you hope kind of sparks something in somebody else. And one of the posts leading up to the stream, you wrote, "My hope is your heart will find some strength, joy, and hope." As you kind of talked about, the stream today, and what you just said kind of backs up your kind of philosophy behind everything you do, from writing to doing this live stream to putting music out there to making a social post. Now, you've done a handful of these different live streams. It's not the same as a show, obviously, but what has it been like to kind of connect with fans and people in this very new and unique way?
So the virtual live streaming, what's been really neat is I think that there are folks who will come to these because it's so much easier to I'm going to click a link and pull it up, and they're able to cook in their kitchen while they're hanging out with their family. To go to a venue, it's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
If you're in the audience, and I've been on that side where, you pay the $10 or what, you pay some cover charge to get in. There's an opening band that you sit through, and then you wait to see the person you really want. And that takes time and energy. So the live streaming has been pretty cool. I think, hopefully for others. I know for me, what's cool is that I'm able, I think, to interact with others that I would not have gotten to without this platform.
And especially, obviously when you're doing shows, you're kind of doing regional shows or doing a specific tour date. So being able to connect with fans all over the world in a new and unique way is also a nice way to do this. And with that, I feel like we could kind of keep a conversation going for a long time, but I think a lot of people are here for some music. So I am going to go ahead and slide out of the way and give it over to John Sierra Jr.
Great. Thank you. Thanks for the introduction. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm going to share a couple songs tonight. I've got about 6. If you're watching on Instagram, hey, all. So the first song is called Good in the Pain. This is a pretty new one, and I'm going to jump right in, but I want to say one quick thing about it. There's working through some of my story, I realized that I was focusing so much on the negative, and I missed the positive. That the fact that we have pain shows that we have pain that we don't want to have or want to get away from, shows that we're not made to have it. Like that, the desire for something more is good. So that's what this song is about. It's called Good in the Pain. In my longing to be seen and loved, I believed I wasn't worth much. Spent years out there searching for the love I thought I'd lost. But my longings showed who I really was. And oh, there is good in the pain. Desire shows our hearts can still be through the ache. And oh, there is good in the pain. And in our longings, we often find the truth we long to hide, be it pain or loss or regret or the loneliness inside. In our longings, we don't need to hide. And oh, there is good in the pain. Desire shows our hearts can still be through the ache. And oh, there is good in the pain. The pain reveals in us this ain't how life's meant to be. 'Cause oh, there is good in the pain. Desire shows our hearts can still be through the ache. And oh, there is good in the pain. can still be through the ache. You know there is good in the pain. You know there is good in the pain. Adjust these headphones a bit, get some water. So that was good in the pain. The next song I'm going to sing is called Humanity Again. This is a story of a tin soldier. This is actually based off of C.S. Lewis's Mere Christianity. He has a little essay called The Obstinate Toy Soldier. I encourage you to look it up. It's pretty cool. And in this song, I'm representing myself and really humanity, us, that we long to be something more often. At least at some point in our life, we've wanted more, we've hoped for more. And that's what this is about, is becoming human again. So humanity again. We were tin soldiers, small one and all, marching to hell's beat. Well-worn paths they marked our course through darkened wood. We knew not where they'd lead, but drunk with pleasure we stumbled on, trusting that old devil's grin. Though murmurings among some who were restless for more, what of life beyond this tin? And alas, the true heart cries to find humanity again, find humanity. Dare the risk to dream and find humanity, yeah. Humanity, humanity, humanity again. Humanity. From tin to flesh I wish to be, but locked inside I am. Underneath this skin so sheen, trapped within, I long for freedom's ease. The real me beneath this alloyed shell, fused to its walls. I scratch and I claw, but these fingers are red raw. A tin soldier I remain, and alas, the true heart cries. And to find humanity again, find humanity. Dare the risk to dream, find humanity again. Humanity, humanity, humanity again. Humanity. And I've heard of a man who can set a heart free, brings in soldiers to life, and remake even me, and remake even me, yeah, to find humanity again, find humanity. Dare the risk to dream and find humanity. Oh, oh, humanity, humanity, humanity again. Humanity, humanity, humanity again. Humanity, humanity again. Any of you that are watching, listening, ever had someone that you, well, the way I would call it is forlorn love. You desire someone, you love them, you care for them, and that love is not reciprocated or returned, and like the pain and the devastation that causes it cuts deep. much of my life, I experienced that through various forms. And I wrote a song called "The Tide," and the tide is personifying that experience with this pain, with this forlorn lover, like the ocean, like really one going out to the sea with the sea. So this is called "The Tide." I caught your eyes for a moment, in them the promise of fullness, and I long to dive there, to plunge the depths of your comfort, to wade the breadth of your shores, to find the love that I longed for, but it wasn't there. Oh, you went out with the tide, my heart was left on the shoreline. Oh, love forlorn. You went out with the tide, my heart was left to mourn. Why? Oh, love forlorn. You went out with the tide. The sea dried in your wake, a vast hollow in its place, and you're cast away, marooned by the hope of your love. You left me for dust, before your sails I watched, but they never came, no, they never came. You went out with the tide, my heart was left on the shoreline. Oh, love forlorn. You went out with the tide, my heart was left to mourn. Why? Oh, love forlorn. You went out with the why did you go? Why you never came back? Oh, you went out with the tide, my heart was left on the shoreline. Oh, love forlorn. You went out with the tide, my heart was left to mourn. Why? Oh, love forlorn. You went out with the tide, tide, tide. You went out with the, you went out with the tide. How's the tide? I'm smiling because today I decided that I wouldn't leave you all suspended in longing. I would resolve it to the one chord to the E. Add a little bit of closure to that song because there's not much that happens for closure's sake in that song. I'm going to retune my guitar to play for you all the song Maybe We're All. So this is the song that Eric was referencing in the beginning, where I was asking people for their feedback on the chorus to get their ideas on, hey, you know, what structure moves you the most is really the question that I put out to people. This song I think is, I didn't write it during this time, but I think that this song is pivotal for where we're at both as a country, but I think as people. It's challenging the idea that while there are differences between each of us, there are desires that each of us have that are the same. And that maybe we're all at the core the same. Give me 1 second. Let me just shore up this tuning. So that's the idea. And this song is still work in progress. It's not done yet. So chances are it's going to change before I actually record it. In August, it will be on that record, though, that we record. All right, let's see how this goes. This will be good enough. All right, here we go. So again, it's new. Let me know what you think. Slow down. There's a man who sits by the wayside, cup in hand, as he searches the eyes of the passers-by. But none look back. He reflects on the days of his youth, when the world was kind and death wasn't yet true. But lonely he sat. Maybe we're all looking for home, and a place where we could be known. Maybe we're all just hoping for hope. Maybe we're all looking for home. And a girl, she stares from a distance at the man so lonely, nobody listening. She feels the same, so she hides in the glitz and the glam. A stream of lovers, but still as lonely as that man. But she'd never tell. And maybe we're all just looking for home, and a place where we could be known. Maybe we're all just hoping for hope. Maybe we're all, 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 maybe we're all just looking for home. Oh. But we are not so different, are we? Maybe we're all just running from the same things. And we are not so different, are we? Trying to make sense of the brokenness within. Trying to make sense of the brokenness within. And maybe we're all just looking for home, and a place where we could be known. Maybe we're all just hoping for home. Maybe we're all, 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 maybe we're all just looking for home. Woo. So that's maybe we're all. Again, I'm kind of trying some things out. You didn't know that, but I'm trying some things out melodically to see what sticks, how it feels. That song will be on the record that I'm going to the studio in Nashville to record in August. So I got two more for you all. The next song is called The Other Side of Grief. One second while I'm just gonna short this tuning. I'll check it again in just a moment. The other side of grief. So I want to say something about this song and the last song called The Wonder. In life, there is no way around it that we all experience grief and heartache and loss. This particular song explores my story. It is the most biographical song that I've written, just of my life. My hope is that universally, everyone, including you, if you're listening, are able to relate to the idea that when pain hits us, and it doesn't matter what the cause is, that it cuts deep. And sometimes in our lives, we run from it because it hurts so much. To stop and to turn and look at the grief feels like it would crush us. And in many ways, it does for a period. But to not turn and look at it where it's stored inside will kill us. Whether that is physically, emotionally, the trauma will come out. The abuse that we've suffered, the loss of a loved one will show up in our lives in one form or another. Addiction, workaholism, it might be in relational conflict. Maybe we can't commit to anything. Anxiety, fear, depression, all these things have their roots at some point in grief that's been not looked at. And so what my hope is for this song is that it would be a call. It would be an opportunity for you to kind of enter into your own story and not alone. Like maybe, well, as crazy as it sounds, like maybe it's enough for you to know that somebody else has gone through it, or that they're with you, if it's my song. So this is called The Other Side of Grief. I spent my younger days singing to silent walls, a lonely audience, and only quiet to greet the end of my melodies, and an empty heart in a house full of bodies. And I've been trying to dull the ache on the other side, the other side, oh, the other side of grief. Sitting with the past in dusty photographs, with an empty longing for a father's love. Some deep cancer came and took his heart away, and now that ghost of a man still haunts my lonely memories, and I'm still trying to dull the ache. And on the other side, the other side, the other side of grief, the other side, the other side, the other side of grief. And when the tears finally come, they'll flow like a river set free. Enjoy the dawning sun. Oh, there's healing. Oh, there's healing. On the other side, the other side, the other side of grief. The other side, the other side, the other side of grief. Ooh. the other side. Oh, the other side of grief. This will be the last song that I play for you all. This is called The Wonder. There we go. This is in stark contrast to the last song. My wife and I were in the mountains. We had this beautiful home that overlooked this valley. Mount Mitchell is in the distance, so just tucked down. It had just snowed the night prior, and the sun is like filtering through the valley, and everything's covered in white, and it was like 5 inches deep. And I was there on a work trip, so I felt like the pressure that I need to be working. And I was sitting there thinking like, man, my soul aches when I stare at this. And I haven't written in a long time. It's been a long, not written actually, it was about beauty. It's been a long time since I've just sat and stared and enjoyed beauty for what it is. So that's where this song called The Wonder came from. It's about, hopefully, the wonder that we forget that we had as kids, but that as we grow older, we lose sight of, we forget. And my hope for this is that it would stir that in you. So if you want to sing in your house, it would be really fun. You can. I'll sing the chorus, and then I'll go into the verse. And when we circle back around, you can sing. So it goes. And I still feel the wonder. And I still feel the wonder. And I still feel the wonder. Oh, that time my soul felt alive. So it's, and I still feel the wonder 3 times. Do you want to sing? Love to have you. It's long since I've remembered how the wind can move my soul. It's long that I've forgotten, oh, the sound of beauty's call. But I hear her voice in the morning breeze and see her in the setting sun. Oh, that time when my soul felt alive, felt alive, felt alive. Here we go. And I still feel the wonder. And I still feel the wonder. And I still feel the wonder. Oh, that time my soul felt alive. And I remember as a boy, rippling streams and rumors of gold. A wild black lab in the mist-covered mountains. Oh, the longing in it all. And it was there that I heard beauty's voice. It was there my heart began to rise. And I still feel the wonder. And I still feel the wonder. And I still feel the wonder. Oh, that time my soul felt alive. And behind every moment of wonder, a subtle memory of God. His love draws me to life. His love draws me to life. His love draws me to life. Come alive, come alive, and I still feel the wonder. Oh, I still feel the wonder, and I still feel the wonder. Oh, that time my soul felt alive. And oh, the wonder. The wonder. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you all very much.
That sounded awesome, dude.
Thank you.
That sounded really awesome. Thanks for taking time to do this.
Yeah, this was awesome.
That was great. That was great. I want to definitely give a shout out to everybody in the chat. We're streaming across YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. So thanks for everybody that was tuning in. To Terry and Jessica and Kevin and everybody. Thank you so much. I know that Terry had made some comments on YouTube. John actually can't see all the chat coming through, so he'll be able to kind of go back and see some of this. But Terry made some comments about songwriting, and I don't know if she was looking for maybe a songwriter to help her out, but you two might want to kind of connect. I'll put up John's handle there so you can make sure that you follow along with John on all of his social media to connect about the songwriting aspect of things.
Yeah,
but also for
Instagram, that'd be great.
For new songs, new different things kind of coming out. It seems like you're going to be doing a lot of kind of behind the scenes of the process of putting this record together based off of the few things that you've been posting so far.
Yeah.
Is that pretty fair to say?
Yeah, I think I will. I'll be.
Yeah, which is great because people love to kind of learn kind of what all goes into. I mean, you posted a little, kind of cheat sheet where you're kind of writing down working out your budget and everything on what you're doing. So I think people love just kind of seeing that kind of behind the scenes side of things. So make sure that you guys are all following along on all of John Sierra Jr.'s various social media outlets. If you're new to the Portland sessions, please consider subscribing to us. We have a lot of different sessions coming out. Hit the bell notification so you get notified of when those are. And with that, I'm going to kind of awkwardly end stream. And I hope everybody has an amazing rest of your week, or kickoff to your week. I guess it's only Monday. You have a lot of your week left ahead of you. But I hope you have a really good rest of your night and then the rest of your week. And John, thanks again, man, for taking time to do this.
Thank you all very much. Thank you all for listening. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Eric.
See you, everybody.
Awesome. See you all.